For as long as the stars had burned and civilizations had risen among them, Earth had been overlooked. To the great empires of the stars, Earth was an afterthought, a small, blue world orbiting an unremarkable star in the outer reaches of the Orion Arm. Its people, while ambitious, were seen as limited, bound by primitive engines and philosophies. When humanity joined the Galactic Accord, they came not with warships or tribute, but with questions and handshakes. They listened more than they spoke and watched more than they acted. Other species called them the Quiet Ones. The Alaran, proud and ancient, saw Earth as a useful ally in trade, but nothing more. The Thalnari, with minds linked through neural lattice, considered humans emotionally unstable, prone to chaos. The Creel, fierce in battle and blunt in thought, called humans soft and slow. Earth nodded through all of it. They sent ambassadors to every corner of known space. They signed treaties and offered help during food shortages and mining accidents. Their medical ships appeared in disaster zones, unarmed and glowing white, treating anyone in need. They built libraries on neutral worlds, planted trees in forgotten deserts, and made no claims. But they were watching, and they remembered. The first real challenge came from the Kalari swarm. The Kalari were a nomadic hive, feeding on unstable planets and stripping systems bare. For centuries they had ignored Earth, dismissing it as poor in resources and lacking in strategic value. But that changed when deep space scans revealed a new energy signature, something hidden under Earth's polar regions. The swarm moved quickly. Dozens of hives descended across the Sol system, bypassing the outer colonies and heading straight for Earth. They sent no messages, issued no threats. They simply arrived. The Galactic Accord debated intervention. Some argued Earth should be protected. Others suggested the planet was already lost and not worth the effort. By the time they reached consensus, it was too late to act, or so they believed. When the Kalari fleets reached Earth's orbit, they met silence. No defenses powered up. No human warships launched. The swarm approached confidently. Then Earth spoke. A signal pulsed through space. Brief, direct, and translated in every known language. You were warned not to mistake kindness for weakness. Then the stars around Earth changed. Satellites once believed to be civilian powered on. The moon split open, revealing launch arrays disguised as mining tunnels. Energy signatures no species had recorded before erupted from Antarctica, where a hidden complex lit up the ice for thousands of miles. The swarm's lead hive ship exploded before it had a chance to react. The second shattered from the inside, as its systems were overtaken by an unknown code that rewrote its navigation and drove it into Jupiter's core. The third tried to flee. It did not succeed. From Earth's surface, beams laced with gravity-shearing tech cut across space. They didn't burn. They erased. In minutes, half the swarm was gone. The rest scrambled in confusion, their unity fractured by sudden chaos. For the first time in their history, the Kalari retreated. Earth did not pursue. They simply sent a second signal. There will be no warnings next time. The galaxy was stunned. Earth had possessed weaponry beyond anything in the Accord's archives. Not just missiles or lasers, but precision, silent destruction. They had engineered their defenses not in orbit, but buried under the surface, out of sight and underestimated. The Accord summoned Earth's representatives for explanation. A quiet man named Nolan appeared. He wore no armor, bore no title beyond envoy, and brought no entourage. He stood alone in the center of the great chamber and spoke calmly. "You saw our ships and assumed they were our best," he said. "You saw our satellites and thought they were simple. You looked at our kindness and believed it was all we had to offer." He paused. "You mistook our choice to build for a lack of power. That was your mistake." A silence spread across the room. An Ellerin delegate leaned forward. "Why hide it all this time? Why keep such power concealed?" Nolan's gaze was steady. "Because we didn't want to use it." The Accord sat in uneasy silence. In the weeks that followed, Earth re-engaged with the galaxy. Their aid missions resumed. Their scientists returned to collaborative labs. Their children visited alien academies again, but everything was different. Now, when Earth made a request, it was honored. When their ambassadors spoke, people listened. Pirates rerouted their entire smuggling lanes to avoid Sol space. Rival empires negotiated border disputes the moment Earth offered to mediate. Even the Thalnari, whose neural unity once dismissed humans as emotional and erratic, began adapting Earth's models of independent thought. It was not fear alone. There was respect, hard-earned, quietly forged, and now impossible to ignore. Humanity had waited centuries. They had listened, learned, and watched. They built their strength not for conquest, but for survival. Their defenses were hidden not out of secrecy but humility. Earth had remembered its own history, the wars, the mistakes, the costs of pride. So they chose patience, until patience was no longer an option. In a quiet corner of the galaxy, on a world once dismissed as fragile, a power had grown, not loud, not boastful, but steady. The stars had underestimated Earth because it had never tried to impress them, but now the stars would never forget, because Earth had shocked them all, not with fire, but with control, and the message was clear. Do not mistake silence for surrender. Do not mistake mercy for weakness. Do not mistake Earth for defenseless, because when the time came, Earth answered, and the stars learned what true power looked like.